Okay, so something I want to ask you is like, I'm going to end this with asking selfish stuff for me.
Yes. Oh no, that's my favorite part when I interview you. I'm like,
Yeah.
how do I do things, Roberto?
Right on. So I've already gleaned a lot from you in this whole process. Honestly, I have two questions for you. One, how do I get hooked up with like a brand manager? Because I'm just like tired of dealing with doing all the brand deal stuff when it comes in myself and stuff like that. I'd rather have somebody else help with that and even bring things in.
I'm surprised you don't have that.
You'd be shocked, right?
Yeah.
I think it may be just more of I never, like, one, people haven't approached me, I haven't approached them, and it's just weird that it just hasn't happened. But I'm also in a very weird creative space in terms of my content, like comparatively to most YouTubers of my size. And then the other thing is, I just want to know what you think I could do better or what you think would be good for me. And that would be my last two questions for you.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so you're not gonna like my advice on the first one because it's probably the one thing that I suck at giving advice, because it's one of those things where, don't you hate when you ask a question and people are like, oh, it was just lucky? So it's kind of like the vibe of finding a manager is almost like finding essentially a business partner. And so that is something that's very hard to actively go out and seek. And those people have to believe in you and have to believe in your future and have to know that, hey, I'm not just in it for right now in this year, but from 5 to 10 years down the road. And it's one of those things that it's always like people who have managers that have long-lasting relationships with, that, they understand each other, they help with brand deals, they can trust them to get paid. It's one of those things that almost the manager has to seek out the talent for that to work, because you're not always going to be, you're in a unique position where like you have things figured out. So you could probably kind of plug and play some people and figure out like, after a month or two, if they're worth it, you can like almost treat it like a hiring process. But in the beginning, for me at 100,000 subscribers, I didn't have things figured out. So when people are reaching out, it really mattered who saw the journey, who was going to be there 5 years from now. And so my manager, he hit me up for literally a year, and I just didn't want a manager. I didn't want it, but because he was like persistent and he was continually like, let's just meet up. Like, I have complete faith in like what you're doing. I think you're going to be huge. I was kind of like, okay, if someone is like this adamant, maybe I can just like do a 30-minute coffee meeting just to see what's up. And it was really cool to then sit there and just be like, he was telling me all the things that he sees for me in my channel and where I could go. And so to have someone who had that amount of like faith in me and saw a future, I knew that they were going to put in the work and be there for me. They didn't just want to collect a check. And I think they
were going to fight for you.
Exactly. And they saw that, hey, you might not be making bank right now. 10% of $2,000 isn't a lot, but they see the bigger picture. They see where I'm going and they're in it for the long haul. And I think that's what is the most important with, it might not be the most relatable thing like a manager. A lot of people maybe who's listening out there are like, that's not relatable to me, but a business partner.
They asked that question,
that's what you
so
need
it's a
in a
good
business.
question.
Yeah, okay, great. And that's what, even outside of YouTube, that's what you need in a business partner. No matter what you're doing, you can't have someone that you're like begging to work with you. That's not gonna work. You need a partnership. You need someone who's as in it as you are.